Before we begin, this video contains spoilers for Invincible Season 1, Episode 3. Episode 3 begins with a public funeral for the Guardians of the Globe. Omni-man gives an emotional speech, promising that he and other heroes will continue protecting the world, but knowing that Nolan himself murdered the Guardians makes the entire speech feel completely different. A private burial is later held for the team where Damien Darkblood continues investigating their deaths. Darkblood clearly doesn't believe Omni-man's story, and Nolan quickly realizes that the demon detective is becoming suspicious of him. Meanwhile, Cecil asks Robot to create and lead a new Guardians of the Globe team. At the Pentagon, several heroes arrive to compete for a position. Mark watches the trials but doesn't participate, mostly because Nolan doesn't want him joining the team. After the tests, Robot selects Rex-Splode, Dupli-Kate, Shrinking Ray, Black Samson, and Monster Girl. Adam Eve is also initially selected, but things quickly become complicated. Earlier, Eve discovered Rex cheating on her with Dupli-Kate. Because of this, she refuses to work alongside them and leaves the team. We also learned something interesting about Monster Girl. Despite looking like a young teenager, she's actually 24 years old. Every time she transforms into her monster form, her body becomes slightly younger. This means using her powers is slowly reversing her physical age. Meanwhile, Mark is preparing for a date with Amber. Things are going surprisingly well until Cecil suddenly appears and tells Mark about a supervillain attacking Mount Rushmore. That villain is Doc Seismic, a scientist who created powerful gloves capable of producing devastating earthquakes. Mark quickly leaves Amber behind and joins Adam Eve at Mount Rushmore. Together they fight Doc Seismic while also trying to protect the civilians caught in the destruction. Mark focuses on rescuing a family while Eve attacks Doc Seismic. Eventually his equipment malfunctions and sends him falling toward a cavern filled with magma. Mark attempts to save him, but Doc Seismic refuses the help. The cavern begins erupting, forcing Mark and Eve to combine their abilities and escape. After the battle, Mark suddenly remembers something important. Amber is still waiting for him. He immediately flies home and almost forgets to remove his invincible costume before going inside. Amber is understandably angry after Mark disappeared for over an hour, but Mark asks why she wanted to spend time with him in the first place. Amber explains that plenty of guys have fought for her before, but Mark was the first person willing to take a punch for her. She wanted to know what kind of person would do something like that. The two finally begin growing closer. Unfortunately, someone else isn't exactly happy about it. After officially ending her relationship with Rex, Eve flies to Mark's house. Through his bedroom window, she sees Mark and Amber together. It's becoming increasingly obvious that Eve has feelings for Mark, but instead of interfering, she quietly leaves. Elsewhere, Cecil learns that Omni-man recently fought an enormous kaiju. The creature somehow survived the battle, and Cecil orders the GDA to preserve it. This may seem like a small detail now, but it's definitely something worth remembering. We then return to the Mauler twins, who are imprisoned inside a GDA facility. An unknown person secretly helps them escape. During the breakout, one of the twins is killed, but the survivor isn't particularly worried. After all, he can simply create another clone. The bigger reveal comes moments later. The person responsible for helping the Maulers escape was Robot. Whatever Robot is planning, he clearly needs the twins for something. And finally, Damien Darkblood visits Debbie. He tells her that Omni-man's story about the Guardians doesn't make sense and suggests that Nolan may be hiding something. Debbie initially rejects the idea, but when Nolan enters the room, she lies and claims nobody was there. Nolan immediately notices the cold air left behind by Darkblood and realizes the demon had visited his home. By the end of episode 3, the mystery surrounding Omni-man is becoming much more dangerous. Damien Darkblood suspects him. Debbie is beginning to question her husband. Robot is secretly working with the Mahler twins, and Mark is completely unaware of everything happening around him. Episode 3 may not have the shocking ending of Episode 1 or the massive alien invasion of Episode 2, but it quietly sets up several of the biggest storylines of the season. What did you think about Episode 3? Let me know in the comments. And if you want Episode 4 explained next, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.